But when you're not talking about singularity, you are talking about we humans be turned into digital forms or digital beings. And how are they going to do that? They're going to insert some nanobots, small things, tiny, your eye cannot even see it. That is, you can imagine, you can see a particle of dust with your eye. The smallest particle of dust you probably see with your eye. But these nanobots are so small that your eyes can never see them. And then they will inject all these things into your veins in the brain. The things they push, you're going to be creating women, all right? And be doing a human function. Man will now marry machine. And you give it general intelligence. And they start thinking and like human beings. And even they're going to have more intelligence than the humans.
Qalam Radio.
I want to welcome our distinguished listening audience here at Qalam Radio. My name is Dr. Nasiru Ikharo, and the program is Talking ICT. Today we're going to look deeper into the artificial intelligence domain, and then have a conversation as to how it concerns us as we progress in the field of artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? In our previous presentations, we defined simply artificial intelligence to mean giving some form of intelligence to non-humans, to anything that is non-human. So, and humanity has pretty much progressed in the field of artificial intelligence, whether it is robotics, like when you go into the manufacturing environment and you see machine parts moving, like if it is assembly of cars, you see all these machine parts moving, picking up components of the car and fixing it where it's supposed to be in the car. And the assembly of a particular car is done with minimal human interface. So artificial intelligence has allowed that to happen. And, talk about the issue of machine learning that has allowed us to do that. You teach a machine how to move like, human beings moving and pick things from some place, take it to another state. Yeah, it has to do with coding and all that, but for the fact that intelligence of picking something where it's supposed to be and moving it to somewhere else, just as a human being would do, that is the artificial thing in it, because it's not a human being, it is a machine that you are giving that task to do that a human being should have done. So AI and the development of AI allowed us to do that, allowed us to share our tasks, our everyday tasks as humans, allow machines to do them. And it has brought some convenience for us. But in the course of this conversation we're having today, there are some apprehensions, to that. Not just about job loss and all that. We will look at how artificial intelligence is really impacting our lives, both in a very positive way and also some concerns that comes with it. Let me go through an article that, because I was trying to get a topic for this presentation today, and this article caught my attention. It's written by Darren Orff, and it was published on June 30th, 2025. And it says a scientist says humans will reach the singularity within 20 years. So the question is, what is singularity? if you Google the meaning of singularity in computing, in the computing environment, it means a state where we will not be able to differentiate between humans and machines. So humans and machines will be one. So when you talk about humanoids, that we're already playing with right now, you're already talking about singularity. And there's some humanoids that they are being experimented now by several other companies, including Elon Musk company, and all that. You'll find out that they still have some years to go in terms of perfecting a robot that behave exactly as human. They are training them, they are increasing their capacities, but in terms of artificial general intelligence, which of course talks about how machines will have not just intelligence of their own, but they have intelligence that surpasses the human. That is artificial general intelligence, because they will be in the human form. They will be in machine form, and they will have that knowledge that is even beyond that of the human. That's where the current humanoid thing is going. But when you talk about singularity is different. Singularity is talking about where human beings, as we are, physical human beings, not like you are trying to bring intelligence to a machine, and then the machine now start behaving like a human being, or behaving better than a human, or thinking more than a human being. That's still within the realm of humanoid project. But when you're not talking about singularity, you are talking about we humans be turned into digital forms, or digital beings. And how are they going to do that? They're going to insert some nanobots, small things, tiny, your eye cannot even see it. That is, you can imagine, you can see a particle of dust with your eye. The smallest particle of dust you probably see with your eye. But these nanobots are so small that your eyes can never see them. And then they will inject all these things into your veins in the brain. They will implant them there in the brain. And then you start thinking a millionfold beyond your current capacity. But we'll talk about the implications of that in a minute. But let me just go through this article that was written by Darren Off and was published on June 30th. In this article, some of the things that stands out in the story is that futurists have long debated the arrival of the singularity, which I've just explained now what singularity is all about. That's where human beings actually are turned into digital beings. Okay, it's no longer a machine thing. Get a machine, get a humanoid, and get a machine to behave like human. And then you cover it up with some tissues and something like that. No. That's humanoid concept. But now singularity is you take a human being as we are, you go into our brains and assign certain things. And then it says we're now becoming supercomputers. We'll be thinking far beyond or reasoning far beyond our present capacities. But we'll talk about details of that in a minute. So the futurists have long debated the arrival of the singularity, when humans and artificial intelligence will merge, a concept borrowed from the world of quantum physics. It's also noted that American computer scientist and futurist, that's Ray Kurzweil, has long argued that singularity would likely occur around the middle of the 21st century, which is like 2045 or 2050. And with the rise of artificial intelligence, his predictions are gaining more credence. The article also notes that the singularity is near. That is in the book that was written by this Kurzweil. Kurzweil doubled down on his own predictions and details how humanity's intelligence will increase millionfold via nanobots. Those things that they will insert in your brain. So your intelligence will increase a millionfold. And I will talk to that, in terms of why do you need your beyond what the way we are reasoning. Now, why do you want your reasoning or your thinking or your intelligence to be millionfold? What do you want to use that intelligence to do? Anyway, we'll talk about that. Okay. So, in the article continued to say that you don't exactly become a world-renowned futurist by making safe predictions, and while some of these past predictions haven't exactly come to pass, like Back to the Future Part 2, these ideas help expand our thoughts on what exactly the future might look like. And no one makes futuristic predictions quite like Ray Kurzweil. Ray Kurzweil is an American scientist turned futurist, has written several books, that humanity is headed towards what is known as the singularity, when man and machine merge. Okay? And it talks about how in 1999, Kurzweil theorized that artificial general intelligence will be achieved once humanity could achieve a technology capable of trillion calculations per second, which he pegged to occur by 2029. So computing technology is right now in the billions per second, right? Okay. And, he's saying that this by 2029, once we get to that point where we are not doing a trillion calculations per second, then artificial general intelligence will occur, which means that machines will now be, more intelligent. If not as intelligent as human beings, they will be more intelligent than human beings. Again, we'll talk to that. So, experts, the article further said that experts at the time scoffed the idea, figuring it to be at least a century or more. But with Kurzweil timeline, only a few years off, and talking of artificial general intelligence spreading, these decade-old predictions are right here. In his 2024 book, Singularity is Nearer, Kurzweil doubles down on these ideas in the modern era of artificial intelligence. Not only is he sticking with his 5-year prediction, as he said in a TED Talk, Kurzweil also believes that humans will achieve a millionfold intelligence by 2045, aided by brain interfaces formed with what? With nanobots, non-invasively inserted into our capillaries. We are going to be a combination of our natural intelligence and our cybernetic intelligence. Kurzweil said in an interview with The Guardian that it is all going to be rolled into one. We are going to expand intelligence a millionfold by 2045, and it is going to deepen our awareness and consciousness. Underline that. You want to increase your human intelligence where you can be more aware and reward and consciousness. So now, that is Kurzweil. And he talked several other, in the article itself, it talked about so many other possibilities and how that is going to happen. So, key things here. One is humans are trying to redefine our humanity. We are human beings. We are created by what? By God Almighty, for those who believe that we are created by God, and those who don't subscribe to the Big Bang Theory, like us. So human beings are created by God. And he gave us intelligence. And he gave us intelligence to some extent that we need it. From time to time, we push ourselves, we will throw in one genius among us. And the genius will help to discover new things, just to help us from stage to stage. And But human beings keep pushing. Each time we discover something new, we keep pushing. And why do we now want singularity? Why are we pushing for singularity? Why are we trying to make human beings be like machines? Machines are there. It's just like somebody, human being, we said we are created above all creation. And then that human beings are actually above all creations. And then you see a human being now wanting to seek the friendship or friend of a jinn or a spirit, so that spirit can help him or her to achieve things here on earth, material things, or to be able to have influence over other people in leadership, in politics, in social, in economics, and all that. We are looking for solutions beyond, outside our own realm, whereas our own realm where we are living currently, we have all the solutions here. So technology is allowing us to get there. We're talking about pushing AI. AI has moved on to, we are pushing it to AGI, artificial general intelligence, where machines will now be more intelligent than human beings. Why do we want to have machines that are going to be more intelligent than human beings? I watched a video the other day in this war between Israelis and Iran. I saw this video where the picture of Trump, or the video of Trump and that of the Israeli President Netanyahu standing by a train, and then they show the other scene where the Russian President Putin, where Khomeini of Iran is, and also the North Korea little rocket man, where they were marching. They are marching towards where Trump and Netanyahu was standing. And when they sighted them, that they were coming towards them, and they took off and started running away. You see that? And these people were not where these things were acted. But you can see their images and everything was put in a particular setting, and lo and behold, generative AI allowed them to do that. Okay? Generative AI is when, generative artificial intelligence is when you use existing data to generate video, generate text, generate audio, of persons or of places, of things. Generate them from scratch. Generate them as if it was real. So somebody will be in one place, be shown to have said certain things, and he will be there physically, whereas he wasn't there. But you see the mouth moving. So why are we pushing the button? Now we're not talking about artificial general intelligence, where machines are going to be more intelligent than human. Why are we testing the wheel? When those machines now come to existence and we are producing them and we are using them for certain tests, and they start thinking are more intelligent than human beings, don't you think that they can turn things around and start thinking, why don't we wipe these humans out and occupy the earth? And when that time comes, we'll begin to see what we have done to ourselves. It's just as the way we are busy stockpiling, we're stockpiling weapons of mass destruction. We're having nuclear weapons, and we're even concerned about others having it. But we have it. The G7, they have it. They are trying to knock out Russia, but the reason they can't knock that is that Russia has a stockpile of nuclear weapons. China has a stockpile of nuclear weapons. Okay, why do we need nuclear weapon in an earth that is transient, an earth that we are just passing by? A program that was run before my program this morning talked about love, the whole concept of love. if we love each other as humans, then we will be developing technologies that show love, that help us, that shows that love, that shows that help. Not technologies that we'll be using to kill each other. To kill each other. There's everything good in goodness. So, artificial intelligence is good. It's supposed to help us to do things easier, faster. It makes us to conquer distance and time. The whole concept of distance and time. So that we can achieve things more and then also do them more quickly. We have achieved autonomous vehicle. Small time will be into autonomous planes. People are also looking at autonomous ships. We already have autonomous trains. There are trains now that just, although they are on tracks, they are not driven by human beings. They are all automated. They come to a particular stop, they do announcements, which is voice AI. People will drop and then it moves again. All these things are all good to automate processes, to get us to places and also reduce risks of human. But when you start talking about singularity, where human beings, you start something and people will go for it. People will want to expand their intelligence. Not knowing that already the human brain, as scientists have found out, it has so much capacity that only 5% of that capacity is what we are using right now. And only God who created us know why he restricted us to that 5%. You can see what geniuses, those that have been able to push it beyond the 5 to 6 to 7 to 8, you can see what they are doing with that intelligence. You can see what the geniuses are doing with it. Okay? Doing weapons of mass destruction and all that. You can see where it's leading us. So God restricted us to that 5%, but we want to push it, want to go and put something now in our brain to open up that rest capacity so that we can have intelligence in millionfold than what we have right now. To do what? All this for what purpose? We're talking ICT. Why do you want to give those powers to machines? And come and competing in the human space? Will they have emotions? Will they show love? Maybe. Will they now be thinking as human beings are thinking now to wipe the rest of humanity away so that they can take over, just as we as human beings we are thinking? Just as we are thinking about taking over all the oil fields in the world and then control human beings? Just as we know that Dajjal is going to come, the Antichrist will come, for those of us who believe, and take over the reign of earth and declare war on the believers. So, technology is supposed to help us, but we should have a check in it. We should ensure that technology comes to add value to humanity in a very positive sense, that have been a threat to our life survival. Now we're talking about artificial general intelligence, where it's like you are giving it all to the machine for them to think like humans. There is this concept of downloading the human brain into a machine. The bodies are still machines. I probably cover it up with some kind of material that resembles human tissues, okay? And then you call it a humanoid. But the components inside, the linkages, the structure itself, they are machines, okay? So I had issues about saying that, people will now start selling humanoids, people like Elon Musk, I respect the man for his intelligence and all that, but some of the things he's pushing out there, especially for those who don't believe that there is God and there will be final day, there will be judgment day or things like that. The things they push, you're going to be creating women, all right, and be doing a human function. Man will now marry machine, and you give it general intelligence, and they start thinking and like human being, and even they're going to have more intelligence than the humans. And then you and this machine that you have married in the house, you have some misunderstanding, and there are situations where there are misunderstanding, and you have given emotions to this machine, and he has feelings, and then he gets annoyed like humans and gives you an iron slap. He's not going to be afraid of you, because it's made of machine. He knows you are made of bones, and your bones will crack. You're already talking about women beating up some men, because they are bigger and have more muscles. But this time around, you have a human iron that will give you iron slap, break your jaw for you. You understand? So how is that now helping to solve the problem that you are trying to solve by creating a humanoid and a woman that will now be marrying human beings? Okay, marrying human beings. And in a world where, the population is becoming skewed, we're having more women in the world than men because of war, because of killings. You can imagine how many men have died in Russia, about 1 million men. And there is this concept that it's not that more women are created into the world than men. If you look at it critically, if you look at the beginning of creation, it is said that Adam and Eve, they were giving birth to twins, boy and a girl, boy and a girl, boy and a girl. That's how they were coming. So in this creation too, God is creating us equal, so that one man can marry one woman. Well, at some point, there was not killings, starting from Cain, right? There was killings. So if you kill a man, then the woman you would have married will be there in the system. And so these wars are taking place, and more men are dying. Look at in Ukraine now, 1 million men died. And if there are 1 million women they would have married, those women will not have a man to marry them. Because woman was created to marry a man, to be his companion. That's the purpose of creation. And they go there and multiply, right? So, but men are dying in this. Then you now want to come and create more women with machines, with inside their brain, inside their body. Their structure is machine. It's rods and electrical wires. And then, you think that, if it makes me annoyed, I'll pull the plug, or when the battery goes down. Now, China has discovered a battery that lasts for 50 years without coming down. So tell me about it. So you'll be doing all this, and then if that person has a battery in itself that will last for 50 years. So the idea of pulling the plug on the humanoid is neither here nor there. So that is artificial general intelligence. That's where it's going, where you are giving capabilities to machines for them to be behaving like humans, and you call them humanoids. They'll be there. And then on the other side of it is the whole concept of singularity. Listen to what this article also written by Off said. It said singularity is nearer. Okay, so this was written by Conswell. It says singularity is nearer when we as human beings will merge with artificial intelligence. I told you how that will happen. There will be nanobots, small, tiny, objects that will be digital objects that will be inserted in the brain, in the human brain, as human beings. Okay, while this idea subscribes to a merger more akin to physical intervention to bridge the gap between man and machine, other philosophers and artificial intelligence experts agree that some form of merger is likely inevitable, and in some ways it's already beginning. That means we may be talking here now. These processes are already in place, moving on the train. In July 2024, Oxford's Marcus du Sautoy and Nick Bostrom both expanded on the hopeful, harrowing possibilities of our AI future, and for both of them, a kind of synthesis appear inevitable. I think, this is in quote now, I think that we are headed towards a hybrid future. Sautoy told Popular Metnis, we still believe that we are the only beings with a high level of consciousness as human beings. And that's how we are created, okay? So this is part of the whole Copernican journey, that we are not unique. We are not at the center, okay? So, of course, the brave new world of a hybrid AI human existence brings with it a plethora of issues, both political and personal. What will humans do for jobs? So when we get to that stage, what would they now be doing for jobs? Everyone's so intelligent. What would you be doing for jobs? Could we possibly live forever? That's another question. Could we possibly live forever? There is this whole concept about human beings being able to live forever because of this thing you will implant in yourself, and now start thinking that those will regenerate your tissues and all that, and then you look young forever, or you will live forever, no more dying, to be regenerating your cells. Okay, so would that change the very idea of what it means to be a human? Okay, so when you are human, you have your characteristics. Now that you are superhuman, will that still be human? When you have planted things in your body and all that, and you are now more intelligent and all that, will you still be considered as a human being? When you have all these bots in your system, when there is singularity, when there is merger between machine, you are not a digital human, will you still be called a human being? Okay, so back to Coswell. Coswell, like many other futurists, is relatively optimistic on this front. In that same interview with The Guardian, Coswell highlights the idea of a universal basic income as a necessity, rather than a fringe idea currently supported in more progressive circles. And artificial intelligence will bring unprecedented advancement in medicine, meaning the very idea of immortality isn't out of the realm of possibility. See, the very idea, are already thinking, because what AI will bring in the advancement of medicine, that the secret of longevity will be exposed, and the whole concept of whether a person will even die will now be in the front burner. Okay, in the early 2030s, as future now, we can expect to reach longevity escape velocity, where every life we lose through aging, we get back from scientific progress. Okay, so they are looking at the fact that, by 2030 we'll begin to see this concept of people being able to stay forever emerging. Well, it's 5 years down the road, and we'll see how these predictions will be. But there is no gainsaying the fact for those who have, who are in the scriptures, who look at the scriptures and the whole concept of creation. There are several things that have been proven wrong. The whole concept of Big Bang theory is even being proven wrong by scientists themselves right now. So, and the whole concept of longevity. I mean, what is the age limit we have now? People used to live for 1,000 years. Noah was 950 years old. Okay? People were living for 700 years. Some were living for 500. And the age start coming down over time. We haven't asked ourselves the reason why. The ages start coming. The more we are thinking we're advancing in technology and all that, the more we are reducing the longevity of man. Why is that? Are there things that we are doing wrongly? Are we polluting our society? Are we injecting things into ourselves we are not supposed to? Are we inhaling what we are not supposed to inhale? All these bombs that we are throwing at ourselves and into society, that smoke that emerges from the bomb, where does it go? Does it go beyond our atmosphere? No, it stays in the atmosphere. The wind carries it along. And we are beginning to see, temperature changes. We are seeing warm environments. I'm sure scientists are looking at all this. So as we advance in technology and in scientific discovery, are we actually using these discoveries and knowledge and intelligence to better ourselves, to better our society, so that we can have a positive total experience in our living experience day to day? These are questions we need to ask ourselves. Singularity. Why are we pursuing singularity? God created human being in his own image. We have all the intelligence we need. We can manage our environment. Look at rain that are falling now. The thunders are more loud than ever. There is gullies everywhere. Landslides are coming. Earthquakes are around us. Okay, and we know that these phenomena just don't happen. And we know in the scriptures that God says that he uses these phenomena to punish a people when they have gone beyond bounds in terms of what they are doing. Here in Afema land, here in Nigeria, in Afema land, there are so many things that are now happening. Young men and women who are supposed to sit down and begin to learn skills that will add value to society, they are busy doing what they call press in this community. Why don't you go and learn computing and learn this AI, artificial intelligence, for the common good? Not generative AI, not singularity. Conswell and Co., yes, they are predicting. They may not be the ones making it happen, but they are also predicting. Those who are making it happen, what we are saying is, be careful of what you wish for yourself. Let's be careful of how we push technology, how we push computing. Yes, the possibilities are there for us to push human knowledge, but let us have a break. Let us not create monsters that will come back and make our life uncomfortable. You will create an army of these super intelligent beings, or what I'll call them, machines. Then they are more intelligent than human beings. They start having emotions like human beings. They start having all these. Why are you pushing it? I know man is already thinking about cloning itself. That didn't happen. Why? Because the human being has a soul. It is that soul. Okay, human being has a soul, and it is that soul that controls the human, the affairs of the human. Without a soul, there is no human being. So when they try to clone, they will get to a point where the soul has to enter the body, but because they don't own a soul, they cannot put a soul in the body and they get frustrated. And that now went into the human genome they're talking about. Then they do all this stem cell research and all that. That is all fine. Because through stem cell research, you're now discovering the generative concepts in human, human biology. And using it for medicine, for medical purposes. But let us, in the computing environment, let us develop or stay within the realm of developing products in this robotic space or artificial intelligence space, those that will bring positive experience to humanity. Let us stay within that realm. Let's leave singularity alone. Let's have a rethink of how we deploy all the possibilities that artificial intelligence has provided us for the benefit of humanity. Let us always have a standard. Let us have a protocol, a code of conduct in the IT space. And we know what is possible, but let us not push the boundary. Let us show love to ourselves, show love to humanity, and let us interact with technology in ways that is helpful to us as humans. Let us leave singularity, let it rest there. Let us not push it. This is where we're going to draw the curtain. And thank you for listening again. Stay with us here at Qalam Radio, where we bring you topics, especially on Talking ICT, topics that are educative and also that brings us good information about within the ICT space that educate us. On that note, we draw the curtain here. My name, Dr. Nasiru Ikharo, and I thank Mariam and Okabuzo Gift for producing this segment of our presentation. Till next time, when we bring Talking ICT, we'll draw the curtain here, and bye-bye.
Qalam